Morning, friends, family, distinguished guests, and most importantly, Chris, Kelly, Ryan, and Aiden. I'm honored to have an opportunity to share a few words with you today about the impact the Pate family has had on me and my family. I'm sure that our experience mirrors those of thousands of families the Pates have influenced over an impactful, meaningful career of naval service, and I'm confident I can speak on their behalf to thank you for everything you've done for each of your boats, your shore commands, your sailors, and your country. I only wish I could be there in person with you. This crowd knows well how submarine life sometimes takes you away from the place you want to be because there is a place you need to be for the good of your crew. I first met the Pates when we served together on USS San Juan in Groton, Connecticut, Chris's last boat. The boat had just come back from a successful deployment and was about to start the next 12-month workup for a second deployment. I had just relieved as executive officer and came in full of energy and ready to work. I immediately started doing the things I thought I needed to be doing as XO, and that's when Chris came in to steer me back on track. Along with FTC Frank Cook, we had a brief chat with the new XO. If you wear anchors, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And they helped me understand what I actually needed to be doing and why. Chris and that team of deck plate leaders invested a ton in me and turned me into the person I am today. I'd like to share with you two really great things I learned from Chris that I'm using right now with my current crew. First, Chris taught me to be the XO that the boat needed, not the XO I thought I wanted to be. I had just come from a tour at Squadron in Pearl Harbor as the operations officer and had lots of ideas of how to get business done for a rotational deployer just like San Juan. I was digging into this program, modifying that plan, adjusting this process. Chris taught me to slow down and observe more and encouraged me to have the patience to understand why we did whatever thing we did some specific way, and to differentiate not meeting requirements from it's not pretty, but it works for us. It was a really valuable lesson on focusing effort and preserving bandwidth. He taught me how to run at top speed and still preserve enough in the reserves to throw at real problems when they needed that extra energy. This is really important at a couple of different points in our time together. Following a change of command, Chris took the time to sit me down and show me how I needed to change in order to complement the new captain after the change of command, all for the good of the crew. His wisdom and experience really saved the day in many ways, and that lesson about being the leader that people needed and not the leader that I thought I wanted to be was really important, as those two captains had very different personalities. He helped me pivot from my leadership style and approach the job quickly and at the right time for the benefit of the crew. Later, mid-deployment, we pivoted together in the wake of some personnel issues to be the people the boat needed at the right place and at the right time. Second, Chris taught me the power of the chief's mess as a team. I'd like to think I've always understood how important and influential chiefs were, but I had always understood it from the individual chief perspective and not the chief's mess as a functional unit. Going into our first underway together on San Juan, I started spinning up this great plan to train and prepare for the inspection that was at that end of their first underway. So I'm working on this plan, which naturally I thought was amazing. And he came to me and very bluntly said, XO, what are you doing? The Chiefs need to be doing that. And the Chiefs want to be doing that. And in fact, we've already started putting that plan together. Let us make the plan and we'll talk you through it and we'll run through it together. Is there anything specific you want to see? Until that point, I thought I'd had a pretty good grasp on the divisional chief and how they influence sailors and divisional performance. I thought I understood pretty well how department chiefs work together to get the ship's plan together. What I learned was I didn't really understand how the entire chief's mess as one functional unit could really come together and run the ship and attack problems as a team. Chris showed me that, and it's something I value very much today in my current assignment. Chris is one of the guys I leaned on the hardest as a caring, honest, approachable guy for the good of the crew. He had a fantastic way of balancing holding his guys accountable, maintaining high standards, and being a guy that you could trust and could talk to when you're having a bad day. Chris, I hope you know how important you were to leading that Chiefs mess through that 2018 deployment, how important you were to getting some of our teammates standing back up after some rocky times. I don't think I ever expressed to you how important you were to getting me personally through that deployment. Same age, same interests, a couple of small kids. You were definitely a trusted agent, and I made it through that deployment by leaning on you and your common presence. I know I said a lot about Chris. Kelly, you've given a lifetime of service yourself. You've been an ombudsman, one of the most important jobs in the Navy, a full-time job, with the hours, pressure, and level of effort that we can never thank you enough for, all as a volunteer. You're an amazing person by any measure, and then you couple that with being a dedicated partner to Chris, a fantastic parent to Ryan and Aiden, and a great friend to countless people, including Amber and me. Chris is getting this fancy ceremony and he's wearing his fancy clothes, but I hope you know that this is as much about you and the boys as it is about Chris. Frankly, and I think Chris would agree, without you being who you are, I don't know that we'd be here today. Kelly, frankly, you're amazing. You're an example and a role model. Who you are isn't just about sacrifice. You've achieved some really great things on your own, despite all the roadblocks the Navy has put in your way. What you've been able to accomplish with mentoring spouses, coaching families, and raising awesome kids is impressive enough. On top of all that, for those of you who don't know, Kelly also recently graduated from coastal Georgia. And I hope there's some clapping in the crowd because I think that's really impressive. And it's another example of how you inspire everyone around you. You take challenges and thrive. You don't just survive. And everyone around you is better for it. Ryan and Aiden, it's been a pleasure watching you grow up. And I'm glad you've gotten to see some more of your dad in the last few years. I'm sure you're ready to be done with the moves, be done with the away time. I hope you know your parents have worked really hard to set the best conditions for you and for your future. And your country will never be able to thank you enough for everything you've been through to let your dad go and do the nation's task. You've powered through challenges that most kids your age never have to face, and you've done great. Finally, to the Pate family as a whole, one of my personal greatest memories of my naval service is when you invited us to be with you for your reenlistment at Yankee Stadium back in 2017. It was really special to be there with you all, and I'm really honored that you chose us to be part of that one last reenlistment that you were going to do. Thanks for continuing to make our family part of yours. Please know that Amber, Lydia, Cecilia, and I are grateful for your friendship, and we're better people for having gotten to know you. We wish you well in the future, and we look forward to the next time our paths cross.